Unlock your dream property with Meeks Realty Group, where Rich the Realtor makes real estate dreams a reality. Whether it's residential or commercial, we've got Charleston to Huntington covered. Your key to exceptional real estate experiences start here. Meeks Realty Group. Contact us at meeks.us.
The views and opinions expressed on this program do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of 580 WCHS, its employees, or WVRC Media. From the studios of WVRC Media, the country, the United States of America, the state, West Virginia, the city, Charleston. This is the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live. And your host.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
He's kind of a big deal.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
Dave Allen.
Have a good Friday morning to you, and welcome to the show. Senior producer Ryan Nicholson in charge of things this morning. Biggly, Piggly, Wiggly hotline, 304-345-5858. Tony Vitaylor text 304-935-5008. We do the show from the Jared Construction Studios. Right on time, right on budget. Visit jared-construction.com. Phone calls to the show. A service of Biggly, Piggly, Wiggly on Spring Street. Texting services provided by West Virginia's finest men's store, Tony the Tailor, on Virginia Street. Tony with this big end-of-the-month sale going on today and tomorrow, making room for the new summertime items, up to 75% off select suits, jackets, sportswear, footwear, and more. Details available. Tony the Tailor on Facebook and bestmastertailor.com. Friday edition of the show coming up a little bit later on. Dr. Casey Sachs of BridgeValley will be joining us. Also, you may remember the name Pat Simon, longtime media fixture here in the Charleston Huntington market through his work at WOWK-TV 13. Well, he's got a new career now as a media strategist, a literary guy. Has a couple of authors he's working with, and they both have new books out, and they're doing a book signing tomorrow in South Charleston. We'll talk to the authors. Pat tells me, though, he's busy doing literary agent stuff right now, so he's going to be filming, taking pictures and whatnot, so you may not hear from him, but you will hear from the authors, Monya, Grace Robert, and Justin Hart Crary. As they've both got a couple of new and exciting books out, and they're doing a book signing tomorrow at the library in South Charleston. We'll talk to them about that. Plus, your calls and texts are always welcome. Biggly, Piggly, Wiggly hotline, 304-345-5858. Tony the Tailor text, 304-935-5008. And as we do each Friday at this time, let's welcome in from the Kanawha Charleston Humane Association, our good friend Angie Gillenwater with this week's Adopt Me Please Pet of the Week. Angie, good morning and happy Friday.
TGIF is what I'm saying.
Excited about Friday, are you?
Oh, absolutely.
I think we all are. So we got the picture of our pet, as always, posted on Dave Allen Radio on Facebook and at Dave A70 on X. Webkin is our cat, Webkin, Webkin. I have to first ask about the name. Sometimes you guys don't have a rhyme or reason about the names, but is there any story behind the name Webkin?
The other day I actually sat down at my desk and was like, what if we did like the next, 50 animals that come in, they're named after things from the 90s and 2000s. So Webkin along with Silly Band, Tamagotchi, we have all kinds of them. So that was really the rhyme or reason behind that. And when she came in, we were like, oh, yeah, this is definitely Webkin.
Well, Webkin is an absolutely beautiful cat. And tell us our story. She was brought into the shelter after being hit by a car. Is that right?
Correct. Her story actually is very it restores your faith in humanity a little bit. These two little girls actually found Webkin and took her to this old lady's house that they thought she belonged to. And the lady, was like, this isn't my cat, but, I'll post it on Facebook. And one of our fosters, the foster of Norma, Pet of the Week last week, actually saw that post and asked if we could help. And since it was in the St. Albans area, we absolutely can. So the foster for Norma brought Webkin up to the shelter, and, it was determined she was hit by a car. Our vet team got her fixed up. She is she's still healing, but she's available for adoption now, and she is just the absolute sweetest cat.
She seems to be, from what you told me, she is about 4 years old. Is that right?
Yeah, about 4 years old. And if you have cats, you know that they typically don't like their bellies rubbed, but Webkin will literally roll over for belly rubs. So.
Well, my wife and I have two cats. One, not so much on it. The other, not only does he like his belly rubbed, he wants me to stretch him. So literally he lays in front of me. I grab his front paws and his back paws and I pull him apart. I've not pulled him apart. I don't want Pete to get involved, but he actually enjoys it. So, but you're right. Most cats do not like their bellies rubbed, at all. And he loves treats too, I understand, right?
Yes, Webkin is a fan of treats. We're talking wet food, the Little Temptations catnip treats, anything you got. She is a big fan of it.
All right. Let's talk about some other events, Angie, going on at the shelter. One of the things that you always need is donations. Of course, money. Can't go wrong with cash, always good. And people I think about things like blankets and food and things like that, but I was reading this on your guys' social media. There are other things that can be donated that you're in need of, things people may not think about, like thermometers, grooming clippers, heating pads, dishwashing, and laundry detergent, lots of different things.
Yeah, so we do a lot of cleaning at our shelter. So if you can use that particular product for cleaning, and I'm talking gloves, Fabuloso, little steel wool scrubby pads, we can use any type of cleaning product in our shelter, which is something I feel like people don't think a lot when it comes to donations. So cleaning products are a big one. Also, lots of medical products. If you work for a hospital and have like expired syringes or expired bags of fluids, heating pads, thermometers, things like that, our medical team can also use those.
Very good. Again, we're talking with Angie Gillenwater from the Kanawha Charleston Humane Association. And as always, if you want to take a look at the pet we're talking about, go over to my social media and you can take a look at it. I do want to remind you that the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you in part by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Gotta be, and I have a text about this, asking about this. I was going to get to it anyway. Appreciate the text. Or one of the biggest take-ins in shelter history. And you have the story again, posted about it on your social media and your Facebook page and whatnot. A man was working on a construction site and lifted up a pallet to find 38 cats there. Now, they were kittens and 4 mamas, all hungry, all scared. What can you tell us?
So we actually just talked to the man before we saw the cats, and he said, I lifted up that pallet and cats went everywhere. And we were thinking, okay, well, let us see what you got. And when he brought them in, I think everybody in our building, their jaws just hit the floor because cats truly did go everywhere with that amount. But all of them, where they had been outside, they were all really hot, panting. Almost all of them were sick. I think the mamas were the only exception to not having their eyes crusted shut. But we have gotten them started on meds, and our amazing foster care coordinator got almost all of them, all of those kittens out of the building yesterday into foster care, where all of them are going to, wait, get their meds, wait, and just grow big and strong for adoption. So, but that, when he got those cats out of his truck, I personally, my jaw was on the floor. I've never seen that many cats in one spot.
So he actually took the time to bring them in, is what you're saying, yes, in his truck. Yeah. How does one transport 40 cats in a truck? Did he just leave them in the pallet? I mean, is that what he did?
So he happened to have his own personal dog's crate in his truck that day. So a chunk of them went into his own personal dog's crate, and then there also happened to be a very broken, but it still worked. He fashioned it to where it would work, a rabbit hutch on the property that he was working, and he put some in that as well. So he was able to catch all those cats and get them to us safely.
It's not our place, I guess, sometimes to ask why of Mother Nature or how this happens, but it does make you scratch your head a little bit, Angie, and think, how did those cats know to get, under that or inside or whatever it was, that pallet? I mean, I guess just their instincts. I mean, and how long had they been there? I guess there's a lot of questions that you'll just never know the answers to.
Correct. And I'm very thankful at the fact that the timing of this man was what it was, because the severity of the infections that these kittens had, plus their exposure to the heat, it would not have been long until we would have lost a couple of them had, they've been exposed to the elements any longer. So also just the timing of him being able to pick up that pallet at that time and also being able to catch them all. is certainly something that, it just makes you wonder.
Well, hats off to that gentleman, too, because a lot of people in that situation would have probably just moved on or would have, you hear these horror stories all the time. We don't like to think about it, but they could have easily, shot them, poisoned them, or anything like that. And hats off to that gentleman who's kind of like a guardian angel to all those cats.
Correct. I think I responded to one of the comments on Facebook, and I said, that man is just one hero these kittens are going to meet in their lifetime. That's probably their first hero that they're going to meet. So definitely a big thank you to him. Absolutely.
And you guys are doing some hiring, I understand.
Yes, we had open interviews yesterday, and we got to see lots of new faces. And if you weren't able to make it to open interviews yesterday, still email us your resume, because it's all hands on deck during puppy and kitten season, which is what we call the spring and summertime months.
What do you look for in a potential employee there? Obviously, you got to have a love of animals, but it goes well beyond that to do that kind of work that you all do.
Correct. Our big values at KCHA, we want people that are honest and accountable. So it's okay if you mess up on something or if you don't know how to do something, as long as you, let us know that. But honest, accountable, a love for animals, and pretty much a very open and big heart of understanding and trying to navigate situations that, may not be the best, because trust me, some days are better than others at the shelter. So you have to be able to not only navigate those situations, but try to just remain hopeful also in those situations.
I as much as I love animals, Angie and I have all the respect in the world for what you folks do up there and all the shelters and all the rescues and whatever in the area. I could never do that as a job. And you probably hear that a lot because people, when you hear this story about those, 38-40 cats being brought in, I would be like, okay, I'm taking all these home. I'm going to take care of them. And you can't do that. You simply can't do that. So hats off to you all for doing that kind of work. I do want to remind people you got Tuxes and Tails coming up. Talk about that.
We do, and it is getting closer and closer. It is Saturday, May the 3rd, 6 p.m. at the Ruffner, which we're super excited about. We're switching locations this year, so we're super excited for new views, a new atmosphere for Tuxes and Tails. The theme is down and derby, so we're thinking pastels, florals, big hats, horse-related. If you want to come dressed as a jockey, we will love that. So, but that is Tuxes.
Yeah, it's next week. When I said it was soon, I guess it just didn't occur to me. That's actually next weekend, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Don't tell me that.
I'm sure you'll do fine up there. You always do. Quickly, I know you have several events in the Valley coming up over the next several months because that's what you folks do during the warm weather months. You're out and about at different fairs and festivals and appearing at businesses and whatever. This past Saturday, I was over with the folks at Green Infusion over on the West End. We did a live broadcast on our sister station, The Mountain, over there, and I know on their big board over there that they had you have an event coming up over there as well. So best thing to do is follow you guys on your Facebook page, because you always post where you are. As I said, you're at a lot of fairs, a lot of festivals, a lot of different stores and things of that nature. You guys do a great job getting out of the community, and sometimes getting out in the community really helps a lot, does it not?
Absolutely. I would say just about every single event that I take, our puppies or kittens or dogs or whatever, just about every event I take them to, we have at least one adoption or one foster. So that is successful in my book.
Indeed. Angie, I appreciate you being here. Thanks a lot. We'll talk again next week.
All righty. Have a good one.
All right. Angie Gillenwater from the Kanawha Charleston Humane Association. Again, recapping, Webkin is our pet of the week. It's a cat this week. Came into the shelter after being hit by a car. She was discovered by two little girls who then took the cat to a lady that she thought was the owner. The owner, or the lady said, no, I don't, that's not my cat, but I will put it on Facebook and we'll try to get it some help. It ended up being fostered, and Webkin is recovering very, very nicely. She is, actually, she's pretty much fully recovered at this point. She's already spayed. She's 4 years old. Loves treats, loves other cats, and loves belly rubs. And she is absolutely a beautiful, beautiful cat. If you want to see her picture, I've got it posted on my social media, Dave Allen Radio, or you can go to @DaveA70 on X, the artist formerly known as Twitter, and check out Webkin. Let's try to get Webkin adopted, shall we? Coming up a little bit later on, a couple of authors that are going to be doing a book signing in South Charleston tomorrow. And kind of a good thing as we head into the Mother's Day season to have these authors on the show. We'll talk about that. Plus, we're going to go to BridgeValley and talk to Dr. Casey Sachs here just momentarily. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you in part by Huston's Pizza. Get a large 18-inch pepperoni pizza and a large tossed salad for $21.99. Eat in, pick up, or get delivery by going to HustonsPizza.com. Back after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Are you a physical therapy assistant and looking for an opportunity in orthopedics, wellness, and athletic care? If so, Generations Physical Therapy is offering flexible work hours and an upbeat atmosphere. With 7 convenient locations, Generations may have a job designed for you. Visit GenerationsPT.com.
The free Metro News TV app is the place to watch The Voice of West Virginia. See Talkline with Dave and TJ, Sportsline with Tony Caridi, Three Guys Before the Game, and coming soon the Morning News, Metro News Middays, and Hotline with Dave Weekly right on your smart TV or streaming device. Get the Metro News Television app from the Apple App Store or Google Marketplace. Metro News Television is powered by the University of Charleston, the West Virginia Department of Tourism, Dan Cabot Toyota, the WVHTC Foundation, and WVU Medicine.
The Huston's April special is a large 18-inch pepperoni pizza and a large tossed salad for just $21.99. Visit your nearest Huston's for dine-in, pickup, or delivery. Order now at HustonsPizza.com.
For half a century, Ohio farmers have relied on glyphosate for higher yields and lower input costs. The Modern Ag Alliance is fighting to keep it that way. Learn more at ControlWeedsNotFarming.com. Paid for by the Modern Ag Alliance in support of Ohio farmers.
Welcome back to the show, 9:23. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by Pinnacle Consultants. Poor indoor air quality can cause a variety of health issues, allergies, respiratory problems, and more. Pinnacle offers specialized indoor air quality services for residential, commercial, and industrial type settings. Visit pinnaclecorp.net because what you don't know can hurt you. We got a couple of authors we're going to introduce you to a little bit later on, just in time for Mother's Day. Kind of a Mother's Day theme on some of the stuff that they do. And then they're going to do a book signing tomorrow in South Charleston. We'll talk about that. Also standing by is Dr. Casey Sachs of BridgeValley. But before we get to Dr. Sachs, you just hang on with us 1 second, because I don't know what I don't know. We were talking about our pet of the week, Webkin, and Angie from the Kanawha Charleston Humane Association said that is a nod that they started naming pets that they bring in after things in the 90s and 2000s. I had this very confused look on my face, as I typically do, and that's why we have senior producer Ryan Nicholson, who began to explain to me what Webkin was during the break, and I said, how about you just do that on air? So, sure. Mr. Nicholson, explain.
All right, so back in the early 2000s, Webkins was a brand of stuffed animals, and each stuffed animal would have like a little tag, and on that tag was a little code, and you would go to the Webkins website, and you would like punch in the code, and whether your stuffed animal was like an elephant or a lion or a dog or cat, you could play with that stuffed animal on the website on your computer and play little games with it, and it really puts the web in Webkins.
I got it.
Yeah.
See, that's why we have to have people like you around, to help the old people. I appreciate it, man. Ryan Nicholson, our senior producer. Let's bring in Dr. Casey Sachs, BridgeValley. How are you, Dr. Sachs?
Dave, I'm wonderful. How are you today?
I am fine. Did you know what Webkins were?
I had no idea.
Yeah. That's why we have senior producers around to explain things to us. Well, Webkin is a beautiful cat, by the way. Not putting pressure on you, but, you need a cat, doctor.
I have 2.
You need another one.
Yeah, they don't think so.
Well, this one gets along well with other cats, and she was brought in. She was hit by a car, but she's fully healed now, 4 years old. I got her picture posted over on my social media, Dave Allen Radio and at Dave A70 on X. Would make a wonderful addition to your household. I'm just saying.
Well, I hope someone else decides to go and save her.
Forever the diplomat is Dr. Casey Sachs of BridgeValley. All right, so you called, or actually you texted to me and said that celebration season is upon us at BridgeValley. Talk about it.
Oh, man. Is it ever? It's really fun. We have, of course, graduation coming up. The 9th is the college's graduation. The 10th is the Wynn Academy's graduation. We do lots of pinning ceremonies. A tradition for students who are in different health science fields is to get their pin for that field. So it's dental and sonography and RN and LPN and medical lab tech. It's really fun. It's a whole bunch of celebrations from now through mid-May.
It's that season, It's that season when you got all these things going on, and I know you're going to be very, very busy, and all the folks on your staff will be. You folks just picked up a win, if you will, for your WIN Academy. Talk about that.
That's right. So the WIN Academy was just recognized by the Education Alliance, winning a regional, what's called Hope for the Future Award. And so we're pretty excited about that. It really highlights the partnership we have with WVU Medicine Thomas Hospitals for our high school students to be able to do clinicals in the nursing program. It's very exciting. And again, you've been coming on my show for like the last year or so, or maybe two. How long have you been coming on the show? When did you arrive at BridgeValley? I started here in 2021.
Okay, so shortly thereafter, we started doing these segments a couple of times a month with you. But for those who may not know, explain what the WIN Academy is.
The WIN Academy is a public high school here in Charleston. It leverages the state's ability to do charters, so it's a specialized curriculum, and for a specialized group, it's just for high school students who are interested to go into healthcare or manufacturing. And it allows students to come here full-time and pursue what looks like a college major concurrently while they complete their high school diploma. So when I talk about those graduation ceremonies, we will have students who graduate with an associate's degree in college the day before they graduate with their high school diploma.
I mean, how cool is that? I mean, because I can remember, 188 years ago when I graduated from high school, and I graduated in May or whatever it was, and then I started college in August, and a college degree was just a dream, at that point. And you're talking about people walking out before they walk across the stage of their high school. They're going to walk across the stage or whatever they decide to do at BridgeValley before they even get their high school diploma.
They will the day before. We're really excited for them. We've got several students this year who were able to accomplish that goal. And it's really fun. Last year we were the only high school in the state that boasted 100% of our high school graduates going to college. It's a pretty big deal, and we've got students who are very focused and certainly interested in pretty specific careers. But for a student who's ready and who wants to be a nurse or who wants to go into manufacturing, it's a really great deal for their family.
It is indeed. And I always talk about your partnerships that you have with various other businesses. And there was a big announcement made over the last couple of days with Toyota. As a matter of fact, I think the guys on Talkline are going to get in to that expansion of some of the services that are being offered at the Toyota plant over in Buffalo, Putnam County. And I bring that up because you got a whole lot of folks a lot of BridgeValley students that are doing some great things with Toyota.
We really are. Actually, one of our best billboards ever said, "Do you want to work at Toyota? Go to BridgeValley."
You can't beat that, right? Truth in advertising.
It really, I'm so pleased. Toyota's been a wonderful partner. They have one of their executives who's a member of our BridgeValley board. They're very committed to education in the region. It's not even just with BridgeValley, it's with other education partners too. They really need good talent, and they're interested in people who have manufacturing and engineering skills, and it's wonderful that they hire students right out of our programming.
Talking to Dr. Casey Sachs of BridgeValley. Older adults should protect themselves against severe respiratory disease. Talk to your doctor about flu, COVID-19, and RSV vaccines. Risk less, do more. Get started. Vaccines.gov, paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. All right, so you got a camp coming up for this summer for 5th and 8th graders, and this is the time of year when parents start, talking about the camps for their kids. Talk about this camp you got going on.
We do. So we've run it for, years before I even got here. It's a camp that's really focused on math and science and engineering. And so they do a lot of hands-on, build robots kind of activities. It's for 5th and 8th graders. It's July 21st through 25th. So if you have a kid who's that age and they're not already signed up for a camp experience, I'd really encourage folks to sign up students. It's $150, and we have scholarships if your family says that's too expensive, but it sounds like a good experience for your kid.
Well, Dr. Casey Sachs, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show, and we'll have a thought and a prayer for you and you and your entire staff as you get into what you call the celebration season out there with all these pinnings and whatnot that you got going on. I know you'll do it. You'll do it great like you always do. Appreciate you being here. We'll talk again next month. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Bye, Dave.
All right, Dr. Casey Sachs of BridgeValley. It is 21 minutes now before 10 o'clock. I guess I can't, and I just can't try to wrap my head around that about somebody being able to have a degree before they have a high school diploma. But that's what they're doing out there at BridgeValley, and it's a wonderful way and wonderful changes, I think, to higher education that have happened since, the dark ages when I was a kid of a boy going from high school into college. Good stuff that they are doing out there. Text says, in regards to the shelter, and we were talking about some odds and ends that they need at the shelter. I won't say other than just cash and things like that, because they always need those things, but there's other things you can donate. Text says, in regards to the shelter, odds and end items that people may not think of to donate are things like newspaper, plastic grocery store bags, baking soda, to mix in with the litter. One big thing, and Texter says, I collect these every time I'm at Walmart, are the empty can cat food boxes, like Fancy Feast. They use them for the litter box. Those and small aluminum pans as well. And thank you, and God bless the construction worker and the two little girls who saved Webkin. That's a great story. And as I said, that story could have turned out a whole lot worse. I mean, when construction worker out on the site, picks up a pallet, and there's nearly 40 cats under it, and they scurry about everywhere. The mamas seem to be okay, but the babies not so much, and now they've all been fostered. And that just goes to show the amazing work, I think, that they do up at the shelter, and all the volunteers and the people that foster and whatever, because that happened. And within a couple of days, those kittens, the mamas, whatever, they're in a home somewhere. They've been fostered out. They're not in permanent homes, though. So, and again, Webkin is our Adopt Me Please Pet of the Week, now that we know what Webkin is. Thank you, Ryan Nicholson. You can go over to my Facebook page, Dave Allen Radio, Facebook, or at Dave A70 on X. Take a look at Webkin, and I think you'll want to adopt Webkin in your home. Beautiful, beautiful cat. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by Meeks Rentals and Leasing. If you're a landlord looking for reliable property management services, or a tenant looking for a well-maintained place to live, they can help. Visit meeksrentals.com. Biggly Piggly Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Tony Vitaylor text 304-935-500. We'll take the break a bit early. Back after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses bring first-class businesses to your community.
Poca Valley Bank has a new name. We are now simply Poca Valley, and here is why we're changing. Our place in the community goes beyond banking. While we still provide the finest in banking services, we also bring excellence in wealth management and financial planning, accounting, and bookkeeping services. Whether you're planning for the future or managing today, we offer the expertise you need. With 8 convenient locations, we're here to help you thrive. Discover the difference at Poca Valley. Relationships matter. Member FDIC.
I'm Doug Leach, founder and CEO of Ascension Recovery Services. We've done a number of projects with Jarrett Construction. Finding people that really care about what they do and care about what we do is pretty unique. In Jarrett Construction, they care. They're really, really good people. Good people do the right thing, and they're very skilled. They have all the qualities that make up just a perfect construction partner, and they just built us a phenomenal building.
Right on time, right on budget. Call on Jarrett Construction.
Warmer weather only means one thing at Walker Chevrolet and Nitro: springtime savings. And there's no better time to pick out your new ride and get the deal that you've been dreaming about than right now. Gene and Ryan have packed the lot in Nitro with both new and pre-owned inventory to make sure that they have the perfect vehicle ready for those warmer weather adventures. And you know that you're going to get the best deal possible at Walker because Gene and Ryan built their business the old-fashioned way by making friends. Now, there are no gimmicks or games at Walker, just honest, fair deals. And don't don't forget, Walker Chevrolet is still buying cars, too. Yeah, that's right. All makes and models are welcome at Walker, and they're going to give you top dollar for it, even if you plan to buy somewhere else. Look, winter lasted long enough this year. It's time to get out there and enjoy everything that West Virginia has to offer. Walker has the perfect vehicle at the right price to help you get there. Walker Chevrolet, in the shadow of the Interstate Bridge, just off the Nitro exit of I-64. Walker Chevrolet, making friends one deal at a time.
"24 minutes away from 10 on a Friday morning." Welcome back to the show. Biggly Piggly Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Tony Taylor text 304-935-5008. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by Snap Fitness. Snap has a wide selection of equipment, including free weights, cardio machine weights, and more. 5 convenient locations: Charleston, Hurricane, Winfield, Barbersville, and Milton. Visit snapfitness.com for more details. Coming up on Monday's show, we are going to be getting a visit from our good friend Stephen Adams from Ogden Newspapers. He's been doing a lot of work here recently. Of course, we'll talk about the just recently wrapped up legislative session, but also something else we're going to be talking about with Stephen has to do with the senator, and some issues with bill paying. And he's just did a piece about that, so we're going to talk about that. Also, our good friend, former Charleston Mayor Danny Jones, will join us on the show on Monday as well. Biggly Piggly Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Tony the Taylor text 304-935-5008. Big shout out to former 13 News guy Pat Simon, who was here in the studio this morning, but he's actually working the cameras today, being on the backside of the camera. These days, he's quite the sought-after literary agent, and we're lucky enough this morning to have a couple of folks he's working with in studio, and they'll be doing a book signing tomorrow at the library in South Charleston. More on that coming up a little bit later on. So I have Justin Hart Crary. Justin, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And Monya. I need you to put that microphone in front of you there. Monya Grace Robert is here as well. How you doing?
Great. Wonderful. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you for being here. Monya, let's start with you. Before we get into your literary works, let's talk about you personally.
Okay. I'm a mom. I'm a nurse. And I
put that microphone down just a little bit
some of
for
that
me. There you go. There you go.
Writing my book for my children and the lifestyle changes that my patients have needed to go through, and just wanting to leave a legacy for my children. So just took all the experience from being a mom and now being a nurse.
Now, as far as writing goes, it's something you've done your entire life? It's something that you got into a little bit later? What was your story about? I always like to ask authors that.
No, that's a great question. I always wrote my entire life. I never thought that I could publish. I just have mounds and mounds of writing. But this particular project was really dear to my heart. I really wanted to leave a legacy for my children, something that they could have, that they could refer to, but also know that how loved they are. And I just went for it. I put all my effort into writing it and then having it published.
It's called Penny for Your Thoughts, Love Letters to My Children. Just talk about the book in general and just throw it out there. Well, I mean, tell people about the book.
Okay. So many years ago, I thought it would be really cute to have a book with idiom titles. And so I would jot down a bunch of titles for chapters. And then as I started writing and the idioms became more of a thought process of how to tell that story, I started to put together kind of like a lifeline of how I lived my life and how I overcame challenges and how to get in touch with yourself to overcome those challenges. And that came about to be 7 chapters. And anywhere from taking care of your teeth all the way to how to know if you're in a relationship that's manipulating you.
That's interesting that you wrote down chapter titles, basically, or idioms, as you call them, and then you kind of went and filled it in after. That's an interesting way to do things.
That's exactly what I did. I don't know. I mean, maybe a lot of authors don't do it that way, but that really helped me.
Well, if it works for you, it works for you.
The focus and the task at hand.
What do you want people to take away from your book?
Comfort, hope, and knowing that no matter what choices that you've made in your life up to this point, there's always time for a do-over.
Get back to you in just a little bit. Justin Hart Crary is also here. He's the author of Archangel. Archangel. Tell us about you personally. I want to hear about you. Go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm a teacher, middle school, 8th grade English teacher, and have just.
Where do you teach?
Winfield Middle.
Winfield. Okay.
School, yeah.
All right.
Hopefully, some students are listening, even though it's school time.
Well, I mean, that's like a learning experience, right? I mean, you can give them a little time.
Oh,
for that.
absolutely.
Right.
Starting. This is my 13th year teaching now, and I love it. I love the kids. I'm very blessed to work where I do, and always loved English. So once I got out of college, I thought, why not combine the thing I love most with teaching, and just became a writing career after that, and started the book when I was younger, and finished it about 3 years ago, and wanted to publish.
What is your writing style? Because every author is different. Some people write chapter names and then write books after that. But what is your style? Are you because I've talked to authors, I've had plenty on the show before, that will go around with a legal pad and just write things down or put them on their phone or whatever. And I have had people that say, no, I'm going to write Tuesday night between 6 and 8. Everybody's different. Everybody has, and sometimes it's a mix of the styles. What is your particular writing style?
Procrastination.
Okay, good. Yeah. Good. Very good. Very good.
I procrastinate the thing, but no, I mean, I usually try and form, a little bit of an outline, and then, I just kind of let the words take me, where they're going to, and pray about it, and the Lord just seems to lead me to write the book. It's usually they're action oriented, in some way, because Christian literature just seems to be missing a lot of the genres that are popular now, with adventure and action and fantasy and science fiction. And while there are some out there, I think they, I don't know. I like to think that I'm doing something different with the book.
Talk about the genre of Christian literature.
It's Christian. My book, Archangel, is Christian supernatural fiction, and it's basically about a kid who has these powers, and doesn't know what to do with them. He misuses them, all the time. He's a juvenile delinquent. Then he meets,
and then he goes into radio. Oh,
sorry.
Sorry.
He meets this angel, and he doesn't know he's an angel at the time, and just jumps in full on into a training session with him for months on end, going to high school, never been there before, and it's a whole story about kind of what Monya was saying. No matter how far down you've gone, there's always a way back. It's redemption, repentance.
There's a theme to both of your books, and even though they're very different as far as the makeup of the book, there's a lot of similarities between. You talked about redemption, and there's always a way out. Monya, why don't you follow up on that?
With Penny for Your Thoughts?
Yeah.
Well, also, when I read Justin's book. It's absolutely fabulous, and it's filled with so much adventure. And the character really does struggle, but he is coming out the other side. And I noticed that when my children were small, a lot of the moms that I was friends with were really struggling with choices that they had made in their life up until that point. And they were in their 20s, early 30s. And I was trying to figure out a way to bring hope in my book so that readers could see that it doesn't matter what you've chosen early on in life, because a lot of times we make big decisions early on in life. Those decisions can sometimes affect us all the way until our last day. And I wanted to show that with a little bit of time and process that you can kind of go back, look at why you made those choices, and then move forward making different choices. And it's also a coaching business that I have clients, and I do some presentations, and that's what we go through is first we talk about limiting thoughts. Where do they stem from? How can we overcome them? And then let's start with empowering thoughts, and then start making some of our goals and dreams come true. And that's kind of what Penny for Your Thoughts does. I've had my adult children's friends read it, and they've come to me and said, I never knew that I could be so free. I just kept following this path that I thought I was supposed to be on. And I have family members who are well into their seniors, and they have said they're finally able to find forgiveness, a way to have forgiveness in their life. So I think we both have that same thought process as we're writing, and a wish for our books.
Yeah, and as someone who's read Monya's book too, and it's been years now, but I lost my mom when I was younger, and it was kind of like I could displace the author and put my mom saying these words to me that's kind of, when I was writing Archangel, part of it was very, intuitive to the idea that, Cale has lost his mom too, the main character. And, what do you do when you've lost, your superhero? And that's what superhero fiction is really big right now. And so for me, I had to grow up. I loved superheroes growing up. I was a big nerd. And the idea when you lose the things that you're close to and the things that you idolize, whether, it's real, like my mom, or it's fake, like Superman, part of my Christian walk was realizing that, I serve the greatest superhero already in Jesus. So, I wanted to write that and really honor, my faith and him in making this book a reality.
The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live brought to you in part by your hometown baseball team, the Charleston Dirty Birds. Opening night for the Birds as they travel to Lexington for a weekend series against the Legends. Home opener, though, for the Birds next Friday night against Southern Maryland. Also, don't forget, tomorrow is Mountaineer Little League and Softball Day over at Gillenwater Ballpark. Games start at 9 in the morning. For more, visit dirtybirdsbaseball.com or the Facebook pages of the Dirty Birds and Mountaineer Little League. Let's talk about the season we're in right now. We're gearing it for Mother's Day. Mother's Day, and I think the works of both you folks are very timely for Mother's Day. I want to start with you. You talked about losing your mom, and anytime you lose a parent, it's rough. But there's a way forward through that.
Yeah, I actually lost mom on Mother's Day. So, it's always a time of reflection and honoring her. And I think both books speak to the idea that, your mom in some small way is always with you. And so I think both books, whether they speak to the adult side of things or the kids, who, like my book does, trying to, show like how important family is, then... You want to speak on?
Monya?
Absolutely. I feel that I wish I had had a book like Justin's when I was growing up, not only for the adventure, but also for some guidance on how to make better choices. And Justin and I just thought, what a better opportunity to bring out the whole family than to have them come. And if you want to buy it for your mom, if you want to buy it for your dad, or you just have other family members, and then also bring the kids and the teenagers and the young adults to purchase Justin's book and just make it a whole family affair. And we have an opportunity to speak tomorrow also.
And this is at the South Charleston Library. What time does it start?
Noon.
Noon. Okay.
And just kind of give a presentation about what we stand for with our writing and what our hopes are moving forward.
Justin, I want to ask you, because you are a middle school teacher by trade, as you said, and we hear so much about, real or imagined, we hear so much about kids today just not reading. I contend, and I don't have kids, but I contend that many of them are reading. They're just not reading in the same way that those of us that grew up maybe in a time in the past did. Yeah. How do you impart upon your students the importance of reading?
Really, I bring it to life by making a fool of myself in the classroom.
Whatever it takes, buddy.
Yeah,
whatever it takes.
Yeah, and that's
what's some of the things you do to make a fool of yourself?
Oh, put voices to all the characters. Okay. Kind of move around the room, doing little jives and jigs and dances and whatnot. And they always seem to. They really love Poe, Edgar Allan Poe, and they always seem to get into the story if I bring it to life to them. And I think that's what they need, because we live in a very visual world right now.
Visual stimulation is huge.
And chunking, making it smaller, because as we know, media is getting tighter and tighter and tighter and smaller and smaller and smaller, and so the attention spans have lessened. But if you can bring it to life for that moment and activate that spark, then I think they really are, just like we all are, captivated by the story, the imagination of it, and that's where you just have to hook them.
Yeah, and hopefully if you hook them, they'll stay hooked.
Yeah, they'll stay for 400 pages or however long.
Yeah, whatever it takes. So the book signing is tomorrow at South Charleston Library. Where is the book available if people can't make it tomorrow? Is it available on all the places that you buy books, kind of a thing? Or
what? Everywhere online. I know Amazon for both of us, is, and then Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, just online, and like that.
Yeah, and
we also have copies that we can see tomorrow as well.
At the library. And again, the time tomorrow?
Noon to 2?
Noon to 2 at the library, and you'll have books available for sale. Guys, it was a pleasure to have both of you on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're running with bad company over here with Pat Simon. You do realize that, right? Pat's a good friend, and he's doing some great things right now. And then congratulations.
Very blessed to have him.
And congratulations to you both. And Justin, you brought a guest. Are you going to embarrass her by introducing her?
Yeah, this is my amazingly beautiful wife, Sierra. The ultimate reason that I'm here and supporting me. And yeah, she pushes me, so it keeps me up.
All right. Guys, I appreciate you being here. The signing is tomorrow from noon to 2 at the South Charleston Library. The books are available. A Penny for Your Thoughts, Love Letters to My Children, I should say. Monya Grace Robert writes that one. And then Archangel Justin Hart Crary. Congratulations to both of you on what I know is going to be successful literary careers. You're already doing great things. You're just going to continue that. And tomorrow at the South Charleston Library, you can pick up these copies. You can meet the authors. Appreciate you both being here.
Thanks, sir. Thanks for this opportunity. Really
Thanks a lot. We'll take a break. Back with more right after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses want to thank you for shopping locally.
The Husson's April special is a large 18-inch pepperoni pizza and a large tossed salad for just $21.99. Visit your nearest Husson's for dine-in, pickup, or delivery. Order now at HussonsPizza.com.
Stuck in a career rut? Are you ready for personal and professional growth? Earn your MBA in as little as 18 months with Glenville State University. Glenville State University's MBA program offers flexibility, allowing you to study from anywhere at any time. With cutting-edge concentrations like artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, healthcare administration, and more, we implement the latest innovations partnered with real-world experience. Visit glenville.edu to learn more and apply today.
Foundation issues? Wet basement? Drainage problems? Contact Foster Foundation Repair. Locally owned and operated by a licensed professional engineer, Foster Foundation Repair provides rock-solid service with certified results. Contact us today for a free evaluation. Foster Foundation Repair. Rock-solid service. Certified results. FosterFoundationRepair.com. West Virginia Contractor License WV061105.
This tax tip is brought to you by Holstein Insurance in Elkview. Looking for peace of mind? Look no further than Holstein Insurance Agency in Elkview. Life insurance protects your financial future and can provide for your family should something happen to you.
We tailor the perfect coverage just for you. Get the protection you need at a price you'll love.
Call Holstein Insurance Agency today at 304-965-9941 or visit HolsteinInsuranceAgencyInc.com. Let's talk about life insurance now so we don't have to tell your family that you didn't have any. Holstein Insurance Agency, your trusted partner in Elkview.
Qualified tuition and fees are no longer tax deductible after 2020. But Caleb Silver, editor-in-chief of Investopedia, says the interest is.
Student loan interest is tax deductible up to $2,500 for qualified students as long as they've paid their interest throughout the course of the year.
Silver says there are some tax credits that students can apply for,
including the American Opportunity Credit and the Lifetime Learning Credit, but those are subject to approval by the IRS.
Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
For half a century, Ohio farmers have relied on glyphosate for higher yields and lower input costs. The Modern Ag Alliance is fighting to keep it that way. Learn more at controlweedsnotfarming.com. Paid for by the Modern Ag Alliance in support of Ohio farmers.
Six away from 10 on a Friday edition of the show. Ryan Nicholson, our producer today. Biggly Piggly Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Tony Taylor text 304-935-5008. If you have a child who's a junior in high school in West Virginia or know someone that does, Metro News again giving away a full scholarship to West Virginia Wesleyan College that includes room, board, tuition, and fees. 18th annual West Virginia Scholar Program presented by Greer Industries, ZMM Architects and Engineers, and the West Virginia Farm Bureau. The deadline, though, is Sunday, so you got to get those applications in. For full details, go to wvmetronews.com to apply. But again, the application deadline, they all have to be turned in by this Sunday. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by Live Healthy West Virginia, presented by WVU Medicine. Live Healthy tackles pressing health issues, heart disease, diabetes, Alzheimer's, and RSV. It's a podcast offering insights into medical breakthroughs and preventative care, featuring WVU Medicine's expert physicians aimed at fostering healthier lifestyles. Great resource. Check out the latest episodes, WVMetronews.com, or the podcast menu, and start your journey towards better health today. You may want to know this, the new POTA, which stands for Private Outdoor Designated Area, not Private Outdoor Drinking Area, as many people think, although that's kind of what it is in some ways. That'll start today in Elk City at 4 o'clock, starting at 4 now, lawful to carry alcoholic beverages outside and inside select shops in that district, the ones that are participating at least. This is the fourth one of these in the city, one downtown, one on the east end, and the other on Bridge Road. Hours 4 to 10 during the week and 10 to 10 on weekends. Currently, 2 businesses over there that will be selling for POTA, Charleston Nano Brewery, and the new place that's over there called the Wine Down. That's W-I-N-E, Wine Down Bar. Good article about it in this morning's paper. I did read that they are planning on doing an Elk City block party on May 17th on Tennessee Avenue with food trucks, vendors, and a kids area. We'll be telling you more about that as information is released. Text says, this is going back to our interview we did with Dr. Casey Sachs, the tech ed schools, public and private, are steps ahead of regular education in West Virginia schools. Amanda Barron and I coming up 13 News live, and tonight anchor Amanda Barron and myself and I will be, and I say that because the texter called me out on my grammatical skills yesterday. As well, the texter should. But anyway, Barron and I will be in Metro News Midday, powered by Salango Law, coming up noon to 3 today. We're talking about the West Virginia Scholar Program with West Virginia Wesleyan. We're going to speak to one of the officials from Wesleyan about that. Stephen Reed will be back on the show today. It's Friday, which means we do another lunch spot segment where we spotlight a great eatery in the state of West Virginia and a whole lot more, including Open Line West Virginia at after 2:30. It's Metro News Middays powered by Salango Law. Amanda Barron and myself coming up after 12 o'clock today. TJ Meadows is here. You ever written a book, TJ?
No, and I don't want to.
Have you ever read a book, TJ? I know you're a ferocious reader. I know that.
No, honestly, if it's a nonfiction book, I would rather read a textbook on economics than read a fiction story.
Man, you live on the wild side, don't you?
I'm just saying, I don't read fiction
You're
at
out
all.
of control, dude.
I don't read fiction at all.
I don't either, and I hate it but I have all the respect in the world for authors. I'm not saying I don't read fiction. I'm more of you give me a biography of a sports person or a musician or a politician, I'll probably read it in 1 or 2 nights.
Yeah.
But that's just my thing. I'm always interested, though, in the writing style of people. Now you are writing commentaries. You and Mr. Wilson are writing commentaries on a regular basis. So let me just ask you before we get to your commentary, do you sit down and write all at one time? It's a little bit different between writing a commentary, though, and writing a book. I think you would agree with that. Do you take notes along the way? How do you do it?
My show prep and what we talk about on the show informs what I write. What I read about 9 newspapers a day, informs what I write. But I usually sit down and knock it out in one punch, let it breathe, and then I would say 50% of what I had written gets thrown right out.
So what's the latest subject of a commentary?
So today we're talking about the fact that Dick Durbin, longtime senator, the state of Illinois, announced his retirement. He's 80 years old, so he will retire, will not seek re-election. He'll leave the Senate in January of 2027. And I think more people should follow his lead. I think it's good. So it raises the question, should we have age caps for federal office holders? The framers, in their wisdom, said that you need to be 25 to sit in the House, 30 to sit in the Senate. You need to be 35 to hold the presidency. Back in those days, the body gave out much before the mind did.
The life expectancy was
35 to 45 years of age.
Yeah.
Now, granted, many of the framers lived much longer, but they were not active in leadership in politics that old into their lives. Washington was 57 when he became president. So that's what we're talking about. No, I'm not trying to bash on people.
Why do you hate old people? I'm kidding.
I know you are.
I'm kidding.
I knew someone was going to say it.
Well, I did. That's what I do. All right. We'll be listening, man. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
All right. And have a happy weekend.
Same to you.
Coming up on the show on Monday, Stephen and Al Adams from Ogden Newspapers will be here, and former Charleston Mayor Danny Jones. I'll see you later today on Metro News Midday. Till then, have fun and love somebody.
WCHS AM 96.5 FM Charleston and 104.5 Cross Lanes, a WVRC media station. We're proud to live here too.